Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to take a look at another horrible case with you. In a small town in New Jersey, two lives intersected in the most unexpected of ways. Christina Grimmie, a rising star with a heart of gold, and Kevin Loibl, a lonely introvert with a dangerous obsession. Their paths converged in a crowded theater, where Christina's vibrant energy lit up the stage, and Kevin's dark intentions lurked in the shadows. As Christina graciously greeted fans after her performance, little did she know that the man approaching her held not admiration, but a deadly resolve. In the blink of an eye, tragedy struck, leaving behind a shattered dream and a nation in mourning. This is the heartbreaking tale of Christina and Kevin, a story of talent, love, and a life cut short by senseless violence. Christina Victoria Grimmie was born on March 12, 1994 in Marlton, New Jersey, USA, to parents Tina and Albert Bud Grimmie. She also had an older brother named Marcus, to whom she was particularly close to. From around the age of 6, Christina's father had noticed her talent for singing, and her family had greatly encouraged her abilities. By age 10, Christina also begun to play piano. Despite having never received piano lessons, Christina could play by ear. The family were deeply religious Christians who attended Fellowship Alliance Chapel in Medford, New Jersey, and Christina stated that her favorite book was the Bible. She was vocal about her love for Jesus and often incorporated it into her music, writing lyrics that reflected her beliefs and values. Christina had also cited her mother, Tina, a 3-time breast cancer survivor, as a major inspiration for her musical career. In 2009, at the age of 15 years old, Christina began posting videos of her singing to her YouTube channel under the username of ZeldaxLove64. She wanted to connect with people through her music, and the first video she uploaded was a cover of Hannah Montana's Don't Wanna Be Torn. As she began to post more and more covers, she also began to show off her piano playing abilities to accompany her singing. Her covers began to gain traction and caught the attention of many admirers with her unique voice, endearing personality, e-girl looks that were popular with teens around this time, and her interpretations of well-known songs. By 2010, Christina was fast becoming known on the platform. Soon enough, her collaboration with fellow YouTubers Sam Swee and Kurt Hugo Schneider on a cover of Nelly's Just a Dream would prove to be her most popular video yet, and would amass her first 1 million subscribers by the following year. The video has gained a total of 226 million views as of 2024. This cover had opened up opportunities for Christina and had soon become available on the streaming platforms, iTunes and Spotify. In 2011, she also placed number 2 in the My YouTube competition, where voters could vote for their favorite YouTuber, only being beaten by Selena Gomez. As her popularity grew on YouTube, Christina was discovered by Selena Gomez's mother, Mandy Teefey, with Mandy and her husband Brian soon becoming Christina's managers. From this point onwards, Christina's career began to take off, and the teenager was no longer just recording covers in her bedroom. On October 26, 2010, Christina was Selena's opening act and performed 3 of her own songs live at the UNICEF charity concert at the Roxy in Los Angeles. She also opened for Selena Gomez and the Scene All-Star Weekend and the Jonas Brothers during the Concert of Hope, and for Selena's We Own the Night tour, touring with them for 6 weeks. Christina would go on to release an EP entitled Find Me on June 14, 2011. The album was released independently and debuted at number 35 on the Billboard 200 chart in the US. She appeared on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, performing a cover to Lil Wayne's How to Love. The episode aired on October 10, 2011. On November 20th the same year, Christina performed at the 39th American Music Awards of 2011 pre-show alongside Tayo Cruz, and also won her first award. It seemed as though Christina's dreams of becoming a famous singer were coming true. With one of the biggest pop stars in the world as her mentor, Christina Grimmie was becoming a household name and would go on to appear in a series of commercials with the singer for Xbox Connect and Doritos. Christina was also the special musical guest performing her hit song Advice on Disney Channel's So Random, which premiered on December 11th. In January 2012, Christina decided to move to Los Angeles to pursue her singing career, and by April, she was signed to talent agency, Creative Artists Agency. Christina continued collaborations with fellow artists, and though her YouTube channel mostly focused on covers and original music, she also started pursuing other interests. By April 2013, her channel had more than 375 million views and 2 million subscribers. Christina again opened for Selena Gomez during the North American leg of her Stars Dance Tour, performing songs from her debut album With Love, which was released on August 6, 2013. One of Christina's most career-pushing moves would come when she auditioned for Season 6 of NBC's singing competition, The Voice. During the blind auditions, she performed Miley Cyrus's hit song, Wrecking Ball. All 4 coaches, Adam Levine, Usher, Shakira, and Blake Shelton, turned their chairs for her. She opted for Adam Levine to be her mentor after he told her that she had the potential to be a huge star due to her voice and stage presence. Selena Gomez supported Christina during her audition, and Justin Bieber, an artist Christina had frequently covered on YouTube, supported her during the finale. Christina would go on to reach the finals, eventually finishing in 3rd place, although many, including host Carson Daly, later said they were shocked Christina did not win. During The Voice, Levine expressed his desire to sign Christina to his record label, 222 Records. Lil Wayne also showed interest in signing her to Young Money Entertainment. She ultimately chose to sign with Island Records, who boasted artists such as Ariana Grande and Demi Lovato. In the summer of 2014, Christina was writing and recording music for her sophomore album, her 3rd major release, and first release since being signed to a label. The lead single was expected to be released in July, with the album following later in the year. However, on March 4, 2015, Christina announced that she had been dropped from Island Records, but that she was working on a new and independent album set to be released later that year. Christina's new songs would be posted to her YouTube channel throughout the year, and she also tried her hand at acting, making her motion picture acting debut in The Matchbreaker. The film was released in selected theaters in October 2016 and released digitally in December. On June 10, 2016, Christina was due to perform with the Orlando pop rock band Before You Exit at the Plaza Live in Orlando, Florida. While on tour, her brother Mark played guitar for her, worked as road manager, and made sure to keep a close eye on her. Mark had played a big role in his sister's success. He had helped bring her out of her shell, and soon that nervousness she had once felt was replaced with confidence. She took to her Twitter page, urging fans to come out to watch her perform at the show, and announced that she would be doing a meet and greet afterwards for her fans and anyone that wanted to meet her. Sadly, Christina could never have imagined that a performance that had now become routine for her would end in tragedy and leave not only her loyal fan base, but an entire nation in mourning. Unknown to anyone was that she had caught the attention of a man who had been following her career for a long time. His name was Kevin Loibl. Like Christina, Kevin, who was 27 years old, was a natural introvert and gravitated towards video games. But although they may have shared similar interests, their lives were worlds apart. Kevin was a loner and had grown up with an abusive mother before she had died of an aspirin overdose in 2010 at their home in St. Petersburg, Florida. After this, his father had entered into a tumultuous relationship with a new woman, often resulting in fights and the police being called due to violence and alcohol. Kevin often retreated to his bedroom, withdrawing into video games and computers, covering the windows with aluminum foil and a comforter to block out the light. Sometimes he wore earplugs to avoid loud noises. It was whilst on his computer that he had first discovered Christina Grimmie and had begun to develop a deep obsession for her in the last 6-12 months. Kevin's only friend in the world, Corey Dennington, who had known Kevin for around 15 years, eventually helped his friend get a part-time job at Best Buy. Other co-workers described him as socially awkward, detached, and said he had no social skills. Kevin worked in the back of the store, where he did not interact with customers. Kevin's father later said that the only time his son would leave his room was to go to his job. Corey believed that Kevin spent most of his waking hours watching Christina on YouTube and had watched everything having to do with her. He was also constantly monitoring her social media accounts. Kevin claimed to be an atheist, but told Corey that Christina's Christianity had spurred a change of heart and helped him to see the world in a different way. If there was a God, Corey recalled Kevin telling him, and he has seen it in her. Many who knew Kevin Loibl noticed changes in him around this time. He lost 50 pounds, underwent LASIK surgery, had his teeth whitened, and got hair implants. Corey Dennington told police that Kevin Loibl said he had done it all for Christina Grimmie. Corey tried to explain to Kevin that it was illogical to believe he could have a relationship with Christina. When he did so, Kevin would become angry and defensive. Kevin refused to entertain the idea that his plan would not work and threatened to end their friendship. Kevin never elaborated on what he would do if he met Christina, but he referred to her as his soulmate. The last time that Corey would ever speak to his friend was 5 days before Christina's Orlando concert. They were at work, and Kevin returned some magazines he had borrowed months before and said, "I love you, brother." He also said he was tired and ready to ascend. The tour bus rolled into Orlando a little before noon. On board were the members of Before You Exit, Christina and her brother, Mark. It was Christina's last concert before a break to go home to Los Angeles to see her family and dog, Chloe. Plus, she had snagged VIP tickets for the upcoming E3 Gaming Expo, a gamer's dream. Before long, the crew began moving equipment to the Plaza Live stage. Christina donned her black high-heeled boots, a black wraparound skirt, and a belly shirt, a more mature look than the baggy teenage grunge style she had opted for in her early days when she was just starting out. Christina and Mark ran to the next-door shopping center and savored a few slices of cheese pizza at Tomasino's. The siblings then headed back over to the Plaza Live Theater, and Mark set up the merchandise table in the back, laying out black posters with Christina's name and her most recent album, along with shirts plastered with her face and their tour dates. Soon, it was showtime. Mark strapped on a red electric guitar and took the stage with Christina, performing a cover of Drake's One Dance as their opening song. In the crowd of excited faces, however, one lone man stood out. In the sea of teenage girls, the man stood at the back of the theater, completely motionless and alone in a checked shirt and baseball cap that concealed his face. Those around him described him as being awkward and creepy. The man was none other than Kevin Loibl, who had made the 107-mile journey from his home to the concert. Unbeknownst to the people standing around him, Kevin had 2 handguns holstered inside the back of his jeans and a hunting knife strapped around his left ankle as he watched Christina perform. The concert went smoothly, and afterwards, at around 10:24 p.m., Christina excitedly made her way over to her merchandise table to greet fans. First taking the time to say a prayer, thanking God for helping make her dreams come true. Then it was time for her favorite part. One by one, near the table, she signed autographs, took photos, and talked with fans about her music. All the while, Mark sat behind the desk with Christina, offering a hand in selling the merchandise. He later recalled that at the end of the line, which was coming to an end, was a man who would later be identified as Kevin Loibl. He stuck out, appearing to be nearly double the age of the young teen fans, but this wasn't a problem for the singer. Christina never judged anyone, so it didn't matter what someone looked like or if they acted weirdly. She just had this way with people. Everyone loved her, and we literally never had a problem with any fan. Nothing, Mark said. As the last fans cleared, Kevin approached Christina. He didn't say anything, and noticing that he seemed a little anxious and withdrawn, Christina opened her arms for a hug. It was her trademark way to break the ice if she thought a fan was too shy to greet her to make her guest feel more welcome and at ease. In what seemed as a split second, Kevin pulled out one of his guns and fired directly at Christina. The first shot echoed in the theater, and everyone looked around, thinking it was the workers popping balloons that had been released during the show. Mark looked up, saw Kevin with the gun and his sister falling to the ground. Another 4 shots sounded as Mark jumped over the desk and tackled Kevin to the ground. Mark later recalled, "I wasn't afraid. There wasn't any time for fear. It was my first instinct to tackle him, so that's what I did." Others in the theater screamed while racing for the exits. Some tripped as they ran and hurt themselves. Mark continued to scuffle with Kevin on the floor, ripping part of his flannel shirt in an attempt to disarm him. "I looked and she," Christina was on the floor, and I just remember screaming bloody murder and jumping on him, then hitting him," Mark said. He wrestled the gun away from Kevin, just feet away from where his sister lay dying. Somehow Kevin managed to get out of Mark's grip. He backed up against a wall and pulled out his second gun. Mark looked up at him and thought, "This is the end." Kevin pushed the firearm to the side of his head and pulled the trigger. For a second, Mark looked around. It was like a nightmare. Everyone was gone. "I'm the only one there, and I'm sitting on the floor with two bodies," he said. By sheer coincidence, Mark McDonough, the father of the three band members who make up Before You Exit, was a doctor who was backstage escorting fans to meet his sons. After hearing the commotion, he peeked from behind the curtains and two bodies came into view. He had first rushed over to Kevin, who was lying in a puddle of blood that had seeped from the merchandise tables to the stage. He was already dead. Mark McDonough then ran over to the second body and recognized the outfit. "Oh my God, it's Christina." He bent down to Christina, who had been shot once in the head and twice in the chest. She tried to take a breath but struggled. He felt a weak pulse before losing it and starting CPR. Emergency crews rushed Christina to Orlando Regional Medical Center, where she was in critical condition. That's when Mark got a phone call from their father. He wanted to see how everything was going. Mark was out of breath but kept muttering, "Dad, Dad, Dad." Then he had to deliver the terrible news. Sadly, by 10:59 p.m., Christina Grimmie, who was just 22 years old, was pronounced dead. Christina's parents rushed to get a flight to Florida, and when they arrived, they wanted answers. According to Orlando police, the bags of the attendees would normally have been checked, but there were no metal detectors at the venue, nor were the attendees frisked. It had seemed that, as one concert-goer had reported, security at the venue that night had been more concerned about people sneaking in food and drinks and had failed to spot the lonesome guy sneaking in with 3 concealed and deadly weapons. But the one question rang in everybody's heads. Why? Police soon began looking into the killer. The Orlando Police Department said Kevin had traveled by taxi to Orlando from his home in St. Petersburg, Florida, a 2-hour ride that had cost him $200. Kevin had checked into his hotel room at the Courtyard by Marriott. Authorities later uncovered a Nike drawstring backpack containing things like toiletries, bullets, and a sleeping mask. Police did not offer a motive for the killing, but the Orlando Sentinel described his motive as, "If I can't have you, then nobody else can, and I'm going to possess you by taking your life." Any further answers police may have discovered may have lay within Kevin's computer hard drive, which he had hid before setting out on the fateful trip to Orlando. Police have still not managed to locate it. In wake of the popular and much-loved singer's death, Kevin Leobel's family left a note on the door of their St. Petersburg home which read, "Deepest sorrow for loss to the family, friends, and fans of the very talented, loving Christina Grimmie. No other comments." On June 11, 2016, a GoFundMe was created by Christina's manager to cover funeral costs and expenses for the Grimmie family, raising over $170,000 in 2 days and surpassing its goal of $4,000. However, soon after, Adam Levine offered to pay for all expenses. On June 16, 2016, Christina Grimmie was buried at Berlin Cemetery in her home state of New Jersey in a private ceremony. Her brother Mark took the stage to thank everyone for attending and to comfort his parents during the unspeakably difficult time. "I don't have anything to say. I don't have words, still, and it's a good and bad thing. All I'm going to say is thank God for the mark that she left on this world. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I know it's going to be really tough for us to move forward." With tears rolling down her face, Tina Grimmie also reflected on the last time she saw her daughter. It was Tina's birthday, May 25th. She spoke of how she treasured their final mother-daughter time, but also admitted she was struggling to come to terms with her passing. "There's this gigantic hole in my heart that I know is never going to go away. Never going to go away," her father, Bud, began. However, he ended his goodbye with the comforting thought he will see her again. "She's better off. She's way more alive now than she's ever been. She's not going to be hurt anymore," he ended. The following day, thousands of friends and fans attended a public memorial held in Medford, New Jersey, to celebrate her life and lasting legacy. After her passing, dozens of artists and other celebrities took to social media in response to Christina's death. Her former coach, Adam Levine, wrote that he and his wife were absolutely devastated and heartbroken. This is yet another senseless act of extreme violence. Longtime friend and former tour mate Selena Gomez, who was performing only a few miles away from Christina at the Amway Center at the time of the murder, wrote, "My heart is absolutely broken. I miss you, Christina." Selena also tearfully dedicated her performance to Christina at her Miami concert the following night on June 11th, and then canceled a meet and greet scheduled to take place that night, citing fear and grief. She later checked into rehab and put her tour on hold. Many others dedicated performances to Grimmie, such as Justin Bieber, Sabrina Carpenter, Demi Lovato, Maroon 5, 21 Pilots, and Charlie Puth. Christina's death also profoundly affected her boyfriend, Steven Retza, with whom she was working on new music with before her death. Sadly, in March of 2019, Steven was diagnosed with glioblastoma, a cancerous brain tumor which cannot be cured. He successfully underwent brain surgery to give him more time, and he released an album for Christina in 2020 titled Songs for Christina, which features some of the late singer's vocals. Tragically, to add to the family's heartache, in 2018, 2 years after her daughter Christina's tragic and sudden death, Tina Grimmie died of breast cancer. Christina Grimmie's story is a reminder of the impact one person can have on the world. Her talent, kindness, and faith continue to inspire millions. Let's keep her memory alive by celebrating her music and spreading love in her honor. Thank you for watching, and remember to cherish each moment. See you next time. Stay safe.